hello.
Hi. All right, we are back with another question, and this one is for Family. And I know you've been getting this question a lot from people, just like wanting to speak up but not really sure exactly what to do when they hear, a racist joke, or a term that maybe isn't that awesome anymore to use, or just something that is a little cringy.
Yes.
Like, how do we help us?
Yeah. Okay. So the truth is, I feel strongly that if you feel in a safe position where your physical safety is safe, it's important for all of us to speak up about the opposing point of view. About the opposing point of view to racism, or if we know better, right? So one thing, but I'm also here to do it gracefully. Like, I want to preserve the relationship, and I want to mention to you ways to do it which are not scary, right? Because no one needs a fist fight at the end of this, but we do need to move society forward.
Right.
So here are 3 things. The first one is a misconception about a community. So the other day I was watching Tan France from Queer Eye, and he was being interviewed, and someone on stage said to him, misconception about the Mormon community, right? And so he is tangentially a part of the Mormon community through his husband.
Oh, okay.
And so he said, somebody made a slurish misconception about the Mormon community, and he said, thank you. I actually have been looking for opportunities to help correct that misconception. People often think that about the Mormons, but it's actually this whole other thing. So thank you for letting me have a chance.
Oh my God.
Yes. And I was in the audience, and I'm in this line of work, and I was like, oh my God, that's a beautiful way to do it. The person who had said the thing didn't feel bad at all.
Right.
They also, so therefore they had their listening ears on.
Right.
And they were like, oh great. And then the whole audience had a chance to know.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, that was good. So that's the first one.
That's great.
At the whole other end of that spectrum is if someone tells a racist joke or uses an ethnic slur of a voice, imitating a culture, right?
Yeah.
The thing to do that works really well, also in the graceful but clear category, is pretending you don't get it. So if someone says something about women, you know how blondes are. About blondes, right? I'm just using a non-terrible joke here so that we don't offend.
Right.
But it works for all the kinds. You know how blondes are, blonde bimbo, blonde haha.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wait, I don't get it. Wait. And then it makes the person have to be like,
God!
Because I think women who are blondes are dummies.
Right.
And they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't go through it. And then they
Right.
know that it's not universally accepted. If A, you don't get it, B,
Right.
you refuse to be in there swimming in the happy joke.
Right.
And C, they should carry the awkward feeling of having to explain it because they said it.
And also, a lot of times people just say these things because they're ingrained.
Yes.
A blonde dumb joke is a thing that you just say when you're talking about this. And this gets them to realize this is could be a hurtful thing to say.
Similarly, it also works with, I think, a lot about gender and parenting these days, of course.
Yeah.
And so even when someone says something I got my boy kid, all trucks for Christmas, and you know how boys are, and then I'm like, how are they?
Yeah.
And then usually what they say to me is oh, I don't mean that. Of course my kid likes art and all these other things, but it causes them to step out of that rote way of being.
Yeah.
And the other one is, I was recently at a wonderful dinner party, so many enlightened, cool people, and then someone just she's not in the kind of community, she's a white person, she's not in the kind of community where she had heard that we're not supposed to say ghetto, because it's deeply painful, it has racial overtones, racial, racist, it has it's a problematic term.
Yeah.
And so what I found is most helpful is either saying, oops, I'm surprised, because I am surprised, but her comfort is no longer my main priority. It's a little bit of my priority to make sure she's comfortable enough to listen.
Right.
But there were many people at this dinner party, and I didn't just want to let it slide.
Yeah.
I wished other people were not letting that kind of thing slide.
Right.
But anyway, so I was like, oops. And then that at least provided a little space between that word just settling and everyone thinks it's okay.
Right. then at least the
Yeah.
people know that someone doesn't think
Yes.
it's okay. So even if you
Yes.
don't address it with that person in that exact moment,
Yes.
it gives like a little flag on it, so
Yeah.
everyone on their knows, like, okay, we know this isn't okay.
Yeah.
And then you can bring it up with her in a really kind, private
Yes.
way later. And
Yeah.
then there's that flag of like, you made that awkward moment,
Yeah.
so it's a memorable moment. Otherwise, she's like, I don't even remember saying that, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And also the other day, someone was leaving a party that I was a part of, and they referred to someone else. They were like, "Oh yeah, my mom's really a slave driver," and like that's not cool.
Right.
It's deeply offensive to throw around such a light term.
Yeah.
And also, but this was an old person, and I like to do some age up respect, but also I don't want to have that kind of word swimming around.
Yeah.
So what my friend and I, who also were having trouble with this, what we were saying was, oh gosh, I didn't know we were using that word anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just even that, and it's like it causes that person to then, I hope, later ask her daughter, like,
Yeah.
oh, are we not using slave driver anymore? Like, no, we're really not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know we were using that anymore.
And similarly, Nazi,
Yes.
like using it as a, like, she's a butter Nazi, because
Right.
she's like very strict with her butter, or whatever it is.
I know,
like, it's
not
a
good.
little heavy of a term
Yeah.
to just drop and use
Yes.
on the daily.
Yes.
On that note, we also
Yeah.
wrote down a couple other words that like have made the turnover, but we want to let you all know
Yes.
so that you're not the person we're saying oops to
Yeah.
about at the dinner party.
Yes.
Um,
Okay.
So the first one, Em and I talked about this on our live last week that it came up, is the word tribe.
Yeah.
So tribe is an actual word that many
Yeah.
communities use in their culture to
Right.
describe a group of people.
Yeah.
And the yoga community
Yes.
is especially guilty of taking over the word tribe. So
Yeah.
it's not ours.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we love the feeling of it is great.
Yeah.
A community. We're
Yeah.
all together. We're
Yeah.
supporting each other. That's great. We
You're-
just need
yeah.
a new word for it.
Right.
So we're not sure of the new word,
Yeah.
but if you're using the word tribe regularly,
Yeah.
sorry, Tim Ferriss, it's time
Yes.
to come up with a new one and be
Yes.
on the front edge of coming up with a new term other than tribe.
Right. The thing we're trying to invoke is like chosen family, crew, community.
Yeah.
When you use tribe, if you're not taking on the struggle of Native Americans, for example, who use that term every day to truly describe their
Yeah.
families and communities,
Yeah.
if you're not taking on all the struggles, then you can't just take on the fun part of the word
Right.
tribe.
Right.
So we're trying to transition away from that for sure.
We've taken enough from our Native American sisters and brothers. We don't need
Yes.
to take their language.
Yes.
The next one is junkie.
Yeah. Junkie. Spirit junkie, chocolate junkie.
Happiness junkie. I think I've used that
Oh,
one
for sure.
recently on a podcast. So that's
Self-care junkie.
yeah, I know. So it just it doesn't feel right. Like
No.
yeah.
There's a serious problem in America right now with drugs, and we are not trying to make light of that by using junkie for other stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. The pain that people experience from hearing the word junkie who
Oof.
may have a person with an
Yeah.
addiction problem in their family or
Right.
in their circle and loved one, which is most of us,
Yeah.
right? To just
Yeah.
use it as like a frivolous thing just
Yeah.
isn't that nice to all of our
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Spirit animal.
Oops, I made that fault. I didn't know better, and she so kindly corrected me. I made an Instagram story. I'm like, this young person is my spirit animal because they had great fashion, and she DM'd me, you're gonna want to know that we don't use that word anymore. And as soon as she said it, it clicked.
Right.
And I
right.
took it down, and then I then posted some more to say like, oops, I made a mistake. Here's
Yeah.
what you can learn about it. But I didn't know.
Right.
Now, of course, it makes sense now. So hopefully, some of these have helped
Yeah,
you.
but that's just what gives me compassion for other people who say the words
Yes.
just like these are our words and like
Yeah.
vocabulary changes. Not everybody knows all the
Right.
vocabulary,
Right.
and a lot of people are afraid from call out culture also,
Yes.
so they're not really sure what to use.
Yes.
You mentioned ghetto
Yeah.
already. That was our last one for this
Yeah.
series. So
Thank you so much.